Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Mara and I'm here to show you a March wrap up. This month I read 5 books. One was an audiobook, one I read on my Kindle, and 3 physical books. The first book in March that I read was The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. If you know me, this was an anticipated read for 2023 and I was really hoping to enjoy it, and I'm so glad I did, because I just love Holly Black and I loved The Cruel Prince and the Folk of the Air trilogy, and I just wished for more. So I'm glad that she wrote about Oak and Ren Surin, and that we can enjoy their journey across Elfheim, and that we can see more of the whole country and her journey. I finished watching House of the Dragon in February and I just couldn't get more of the world. So I read The Princess and the Greens. It was a short story. I read it on my Kindle and it was truly amazing. It was just fun to be back in the world with Rhaenyra and Alicent and Daemon and all of their bunch of kids. And it was just fun to see them. It was totally wonderful to see, like, even though it was a war, like, it was interesting to see and I was intrigued by it. And sincerely, I can't wait for season 2 of House of the Dragon. I just can't wait for it. And I was excited by this short story and I gave it actually a 4-star read. I felt like it was a bit too fast, but I'm glad I could find more about Dance of the Dragons. I was excited to find more about it. Then I think I read From Lukov with Love, and this was actually in my video of books I DNF'd. I read alongside The Portrait of Dorian Gray. I read From Lukov with Love in that video because it was a book I DNF'd last year and I haven't read it. I listened to it and I give it 4 stars, and I think I could have enjoyed it more if I read it like myself and if it wasn't so long. I felt like it was slow paced and for like no reason at all tend to give like descriptions and stuff. If you want like a proper review, just watch that video. Then I read some short stories by Edgar Allan Poe. In this book there are 10 short stories from Edgar Allan Poe and I was excited to read each one of them. If you want to know, I really enjoyed this. I think it was just exciting to see how he writes different kind of stories, and actually I think Edgar Allan Poe might just become my favorite classics author alongside Jane Austen and Oscar Wilde. Hoped to get to some horror stories by him, hopefully by the end of the year. If not, clearly 2024 is the year for Edgar Allan Poe and classics and Oscar Wilde and Jane Austen. Then the last book I read in March was The War of the Queens. I could have read more if it weren't for that book. This book. I feel like this book was just long and I have so many feelings about it that I filmed a rant and it's going up. I don't know when, but this month. If you want to hear me say more about this book and, give it a proper review, just watch that video, watch my rant. But just so you know, this was a 4-star read. It was clearly different from The Crown of Gilded Bones, which was the 3rd book. And I clearly enjoyed this more. I feel like Jennifer L. Armentrout did a really good job with this book, but it wasn't like a 5-star read. Some things were just off for me. That's it. These are the books I read in March. I read some really good books. I read some 5-star reads, some classics, a romance book which I did not expect to enjoy as I did. Here is it. The books I read in March. Hopefully you enjoyed this little video of me talking about books, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe and comment what you like to see, like a challenge or something. So, goodbye, see you next time, and read more books. Read more books.